Welcome to the Home Designer Bath and Lighting Design webinar. My name is Emily and I will be presenting for you today. We also have Kayla with us who's on chat, so if you have any questions throughout today's webinar, feel free to chat those into Kayla. And let's go over the GoToMeeting control panel before we get going with our bath and lighting design here today. So first you'll have control over your audio. The standard is use mic and speakers. I have everybody muted today, so you don't need to have a mic active, just your speakers. And if you're not able to hear me correctly, select that sound check, and that will help adjust the different levels through GoToMeeting. If you don't see this larger area, it will minimize to this little toolbar here. So just select that orange arrow button and that will restore the larger controls. The next area will be the questions. So if you have any questions, type those right into the bottom here, select send, and then Kayla will be answering those for you. You'll have your log right here. We do offer quite a few different home designer programs depending on the level of design that you need. I'll be using the Home Designer Professional today, and I'll also show you where you can find the complete comparison charts on our website at the end of today's webinar. So we'll be focusing on our bathroom design today and get into some different lighting controls. We're going to start out just by drawing out our bathroom space. So I'll be using some different wall types and dimensioning. We'll create a glass shower and then a water closet area. And then we'll get into our cabinet tools, creating our vanity. I'll just pop in a pedestal bathtub. And then we'll also kind of cover some different controls with materials and how you can modify your design with the different material controls. And then towards the end we'll get into our lighting. I'll show you some different light fixtures and controls that you have within the program, and then finish out with our materials list. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to chat those into Kayla. So let's get into our Home Designer Professional program here. When you open any of our Home Designer programs, you'll be presented with a startup screen here, so you can decide a few different options if you'd like to just start up a new plan, open an existing plan, or get into some additional resources. We do have some videos, sample designs of already created structures that you can work with, and so forth. So you can definitely get into some more resources here, or just start out with a new plan. When you select the new plan option, you're presented with some more choices. We do have different kind of template defaults set up here. So as you go down the list, you'll notice the preview of the different cabinet styles, the different floor materials and door styles that you'll be using through the standard cabinet and door tools. So if there is a specific design element that you like, you can start with this different style, or you can change it throughout, which I'll show you how to do as well. You also have control over your units. So I'll be using the US unit, so Imperial, or you can select the metric units if you'd like to work in metric. I already have a plan kind of set up here, so I'm going to just cancel out. And we'll be working just with our floor plan view right out of the gate here. So we have our grid here. I'm going to be working with our default toolbar. So across the top we have our standard tools. You can also find those right underneath the drop down build if you'd like to see all of those as well. So with our 2015 release, once you select your parent tool, you will have all of your child options appear over on the left-hand side here. So with our straight tool, we'll have our exterior, interior, half wall, room divider tool, and so forth. So some different options. And I'm just going to start out just by using my straight exterior and click and drag. And as I drag out my wall, you'll notice a temporary dimension will appear. So I have an idea of how long that wall is, and we'll just kind of get a rough idea. Let's finish out this space with our interior walls. So you can use different wall types to create your space. And then once all of your walls have been connected, a living area will be defined, and then our exterior dimensions will automatically populate here so we can use those when we're dimensioning our space. And you'll also notice that we have dashed green lines here. Those represent our roof planes. So let's just quickly get into a 3D view so I can just show you the structure we've created. So with our camera tool up here, we can get into our 3D perspective views. So with our different perspective cameras, we'll have a full camera, which I'll be using shortly. But for now, let's use our full overview. This will include the automatic roof that's been created, so you can see that on there. And then for our interior wall, we'll have our drywall. And then for that exterior space, you'll see the siding on there. So there are different layers for those different wall types that you use. And since this isn't a full, complete structure, I don't need my roof on here. So we can get right up into our build area and go down to our roof and delete roof planes. And yes, I'd like to turn off the automatic roof. And now you'll notice that we have our ceiling generated here. So the ceiling's automatically generated for you as well. Let's get out of this 3D view and back into our floor plan so we can dimension out our space and get working here. So I'm going to hit my space bar. That gets me to my select object tool, which you can also find right up in our default toolbar. To dimension out our space, I'll single click on our left wall, and I can use the parallel dimension or the perpendicular dimension to re-dimension our room here. So first I'll select the parallel dimension, just single click on that, and I'm going to change this to 12 feet 3 inches. So the program thinks in inches, so put that foot marker in there to make sure that you have 12 feet. And then we have some different controls here on how we'd like to modify that wall. So I can either move the top, or move both ends, or move the bottom. So I'll keep that selected for move the top end. I'll hit enter and that'll bring it down a bit. Next, let's use our perpendicular dimension here. Just single click on that, type in 17 feet 2.5 inches. So you can use decimals or fractions, however you'd like. Just hit enter and now our space has been completed. I'm going to just scroll in or zoom in with my scroll wheel here. And let's go back to our straight wall tool. And I'll use my interior wall to create some more rooms here. So we'll create our water closet area. Just click and drag out those walls and they'll snap and connect to the other walls for you. And we can also single click on a wall and use our temporary dimension. So as you can see, when I selected that wall, temporary dimension here that we can single click and utilize these as well. So I'm going to do 5 feet 6 inches here. Or we can also get into our dimensioning tools. So we'll go up to our default toolbar and select this little ruler icon here. This is our dimensioning tool. And we have quite a few different options in Home Designer Professional, but all of our programs do offer the dimensioning options for your manual dimension and so forth that you can be specific. I'm going to use our interior dimension. So single click on that interior dimension tool and then click and drag right through that room. That will bring up our dimension, and so we can see that we need to adjust this a little bit, and that just locates to the interior of that room. So I'll single click on that wall again and single click on that perpendicular dimension. We're going to do 3 feet 5 inches. So now that we have our water closet dimensioned, let's get back into our wall tool, straight interior, and I'm going to create our glass shower in this space here. So let me just bring up a picture. So this will be our water closet area, and then we'll create our glass shower in this corner here. So we'll be using our wall tools and then accessorize that space a little bit as well. So let's get back into our design here. And I'll use our straight interior wall, and we can just drag out that wall at specific angles. It's going to snap to 15-degree increments here. And I'll just connect it right back up there. You can also double click on your select object tool to bring up your plan defaults, and this is where you'll control that angle snap. So you can modify that to be a different angle if you'd like to. Alright, let's just get into a 3D view quickly so I can show you what we've created and make some modifications as well. So this time I'll be using our dollhouse or overview camera. So that will automatically cut off the ceiling for us so we can have a dollhouse view of our space. And with our 2015 release, you'll notice that we do have some different tabs across the top now to show you the different windows that you have open. We can tile vertically by simply clicking and dragging down one of those tabs. You can still control how you tile right through that window drop down as well, and Shift F6 is still your shortcut or hotkey to get there. Alright, so now that we have two views up here, let's make some modifications. I like having multiple views just so we can see what's happening. So I'm going to multi-select just by holding down Control on my keyboard. I can multi-select different objects, and then down in our editing toolbar I can open those for specification. Anytime you select an object, you'll have this editing toolbar at the bottom, so you can specify and be more specific on how that's controlled. So we have this open object tool, so we can control our wall types and all of the different components. So I'll just get into the wall types and change our wall type to a glass shower. So we have all these different predefined wall types for you. You can also get into the define area and change the thickness here or change the material. You can also create your own custom wall types in Home Designer Architectural or Professional if you have specific wall type. Alright, so we're good here. I'll select OK, and that will modify our walls. I'm just going to select that wall and bring it back so it snaps up to our corner. And let's zoom in here a little bit. I'm going to just pull that out, and as I pull that out you'll notice that it will redimension according to that angled wall, which is pretty nice to have. And then I'll single click on our angled wall, and let's just redimension that to 36. And then I'm going to select our move right end so we can specify how that wall is adjusted. So I'll hit enter, and that will modify and give us the right dimensions. Alright, so now that we have our space completed here, I'm going to get rid of my dimensions. I don't need those in my plan anymore, so let's just select our dimension tool, hold down Shift on the keyboard, click and drag, and that's going to create this gray box. We call it a marquee. And that will highlight all of our dimension lines, so we can hit backspace on the keyboard, and yes, we want to turn off the auto refresh, and now all of our dimensions are gone and we're set to design here. So I'm going to close out of this 3D view, and let's just get into a full camera. So back into our perspective camera tool, we'll use that first option, our full camera, and then just click and drag. So with our full camera, you click where you're standing and drag to your focus. So now we're actually standing in this room, and let's drop in some doors. So with our door tool, we have our standard door, hinge door, doorway, sliding door, pocket door, bifold, or the garage door. So let's drop in our pocket door for our water closet area. And then we can also select that door, and we have a quick tool down in our editing toolbar to show that door open. So it's just going to open that up for us so we can see into that room. And then for our shower, let's use our hinge door. And this is going to drop in just kind of a standard interior hinge door. Let's open this up and make some changes. We just need a glass panel door on this. So we'll open up our door and get into our door styles. I'm just going to change that to slab. And then I'll make some modifications as we go throughout our different panels on the left-hand side here. Under the options, I'm going to swing both directions. Under the casing, let's just remove our interior casing, and we don't need to have a sill or threshold either. Then you can go through all of the different areas as you need. For the hardware, let's change our handle to be a pull handle on both the interior and the exterior. You can get into the library. We do have a lot of different fixtures and hardware and so forth that you can choose right through the library here. So we can get into our materials as well and change the materials through this area. But I'm going to show you a different option in modifying your materials. So I'll select OK here, and you'll notice that our door style has been updated. I'm just going to drag that out. We'll have it the full length of that wall. And now let's use our material eyedropper. So I'll single click on the material eyedropper up in our toolbar. Single click on our glass material, and then you'll notice with our cursor it's changed to a paint roller. So that means it has absorbed our glass material, and it's going to blend the glass with the texture of the door. I don't need any blending, so I will simply go down to my editing toolbar at the bottom, single click on that paint roller to unhighlight that. And now it's the spray can. So it will simply apply all of that glass material. And I have noticed another area, it's a little thick for our wall. So as I opened up that wall in the define area, I noticed it was 1/2 inch thick. So let's open up that door again and change the thickness to 1/2 inch. All right, there we go. And let's just show that open as well. Now let's get into our floor plan view. I'm going to just tile vertically and show you how to control the door in our floor plan view. So when you select the door, you can still use those tools in your editing toolbar to show it open or close, change the swing side, hinge side, and so forth here. Or you can also use the rotate arrow here. So it's very easy. You can just click and drag that. We can close the door a little bit, or we can change that hinge side. So let's bring that over. All right. So now that we have that space created, let's modify our flooring. I'm not going to get too concerned with a shower pan. I'll just dimension everything and send that to the shower pan fabricator. But let's change our materials and make sure that everything looks correct here. So in our 3D view, I'm going to get into my library, and we have a little shortcut, these library books up top here. And that will open up our library browser. So I can get into my core catalogs. These are all of the generic items that come with the program. We also have the bonus catalogs. These are generic items that you can download from our website. And then manufacturer catalogs are an additional download through the website, and I'll show you where you can find those at the end today. We also have a user catalog. This is your own folder where you can customize and add, and if you import any materials, you can save them to your user catalog. So for now, I'm just going to search. I'm going to be using a dull tile material here. So I have found a specific kind, so I'm just going to search for it. It's a Roman T. There we go. So you can search right up top here, kind of have that efficiency with your search. So let's apply this to the flooring in our shower space. So with our shower space, it has been defined by all of those walls. It's its own room. So with one click, it will only apply that to that specific room. If you'd like to apply it to all of the flooring in all of the different rooms, you can change the scope of the material painter. So down at the bottom here, we were in component mode, so let's get into floor mode. So with one click, that will apply that same material on the flooring throughout our entire floor. So the first floor, if you wanted to do the first floor and the second floor or the basement, make changes throughout the entire plan, you can do that as well. So we have plan mode here. Alright, so now that we have that material on our flooring, let's apply that to our walls as well. So I'll get back into my component mode, single click, and that will apply it to all of my walls. So let's get back into our library here and accessorize this space a little bit. So I do have my own folder here for our bathroom area. So let's just drop in a drain. And I'll just drop that kind of in the middle area. Then I also have our fixture, so let's bring that right onto the wall. It's going to snap and bump up to that wall. And then single click to drop that in. And we'll also have a bench, so I'll bring that over and drop that in. And then let's add some different shelving. So we do have quite a few different shelving options, and I like to actually use our custom countertop tool. We do have a lot of just geometric shapes that you can use for shelving, or use the actual shelf tool and our cabinet options here. But within the architectural or professional versions, we have a custom countertop tool, which is pretty nice because you can really customize the shape. So I'm just going to click and drag this out a bit, and I'm not going to be too specific with the dimensions, but let's just drag out and create a triangular shape here. So now that has been created, and with our custom countertop tool, it will automatically place at the 36-inch kind of standard cabinet. So it's already placed in the right position in our design here. We can also use our Transform Replicate tool to make copies of this up the wall. So this is only in the Home Designer Professional, but you can definitely copy and replicate with the other copy tools. This is just a very efficient way, and you'll kind of notice throughout the entire Home Designer Professional program that you'll have a lot more efficiency tools to really speed up your design and plans. So let's just create 2 more copies and move them up the wall. So that's the Z delta, and each one will move up 12 inches. Select OK, and those have been placed. So quick and easy. Alright, let's just move on over into our water closet and quickly drop in a toilet. And these are just from our generic library that I've just added to my own folder for efficiency purposes here. And then we'll add in our toilet paper roll. And having the 3D view open really kind of helps you visualize where everything is located. So let's just bring this down a little bit. And it looks like it's trying to bump into that toilet. They're occupying the same space vertically here. So you can just hold down Control on your keyboard, and that will free up any snapping. So it's a temporary option to just remove that snapping for the time. And now we have that placed. Let's also add a window in here. So I'll select my floor plan window and then the window tool and just drop one of those in. And you'll notice that our toilet paper is still a little too high here, so let's bring that down. Okay, there we are. So now we have our water closet area finished, and let's focus on our vanity. So in the 3D view, I'll use my Move Camera with Mouse tool, and this will help us rotate and move in our 3D view. So the standard, or what I use most frequently, is the mouse orbit camera. So I can click and drag with my mouse and rotate that around. So that's a very efficient way to move in your 3D view. You can also use your keyboard a little bit. So with the keyboard, you can use your arrow tools to move forward or backward, left or right, so you can rotate around in here. So just kind of another option when moving in 3D. You'll also have a pan tool and so forth that you can kind of explore, but a shortcut to that pan is just holding down the scroll wheel, and then you can just grab that plan and move it in the pan mode. Alright, so let's work with our cabinet tools in our floor plan here. I'm going to zoom in just with my scroll wheel on the mouse, get into our cabinet tools, and I have our base cabinet here, the wall cabinet, full height, soffit tool, shelf partition, and that custom countertop tool. So quite a few different options here. Let's start out with that base cabinet. I'm just going to bring my cursor right into the corner, and you can see that with our kind of smart objects, it's going to recognize you probably need a corner cabinet there if you're placing it right in that corner. So you'll see that outline change. But if you don't need that corner cabinet, just bring it out a little bit. It'll pop right back to that 24-inch base cabinet, kind of the standard option there. And then you'll also have these editing handles all around your cabinet. So let's resize our cabinet here. Just click and drag out. And you'll notice that the label will change on here. So it's base 27-inch now. And you'll also notice in our 3D view that our cabinet has changed to a double door. So let's just rotate around a little bit here. So we have a double door on our cabinet now, but let's open that up and change the different components. So I'll select the cabinet, open that up for specification, and underneath our general panel, you can change the type. So we do have some different cabinet style types that you can choose from. You can change the size and so forth here, the countertop specifications, your backsplash, toe kick, so you can control all of those different elements. And then under the front panel, we can control the different components that make up this cabinet. So I'm going to single click on our cabinet here in our preview, and for the drawer, you'll notice that our height is 5 inches. Let's just change that up to 6 inches. And then you can hit tab on your keyboard to refresh. That kind of goes to the next item. So let's make a bank of 3 drawers here. So I'll select that double door, change it to a drawer, and you'll notice in our drop down we do have quite a few different options for you to choose from. So we'll change that to a drawer and then change it to maybe 8 inches and then finish out with another drawer. Alright, so we've made all of those modifications, so I'll select OK, and that will update in our view. Now let's drop in another base cabinet. For this guy, let's bring him out to about 30 inches, and we're going to drop in a sink. So I'll get right back to my library here and do our undermount sink, and we can just single click right on that cabinet and it will place that sink in the cabinet for us. And then I'm going to open up our cabinet, and once we place a sink, the drawer will automatically change to a false drawer. So the program kind of does that for you. But I'm going to get into my shelving for our door area. So in the Home Designer Professional, we can specify our shelving very accurately. Within all of the other Home Designer programs, you can either keep them in there or you can remove them. But I'm just going to remove them out of here since we don't need any in this cabinet. So let's select OK and make that modification. So our next cabinet is going to be kind of a vanity sit-at area. Let me bring up a image here so I can show you what we're going to create. So we have the first two cabinets here. Let's create this vanity kind of sit-at area, and then we'll create our wall cabinet and then reflect all of those right onto the other side. So for that vanity area, I'm just going to drop in another cabinet here. Let's pan over just by holding down that scroll wheel on our mouse. And then let's bring this out to 33 inches. Then I'm going to work in our 3D, and I can just drag that down a little bit. And let's open that up for specification. So for our backsplash, we've brought it down 3 inches. So let's bring up our backsplash 3 inches. So the D means this is our default. So let's remove the D and just bring it up to 7. So that will update in our preview here. And then I need to remove all of the different components and just have this as an opening. So I'll single click on the drawer and delete it. We're just going to work our way down here. So let's delete those doors. Let's delete our toe kick here. And I'm going to delete this last separation. And then let's remove all of our shelving in here. So we'll just get into the manual. No shelves in here. And there we are. Now we have this open area. Back into the floor plan, let's drop in our wall cabinet. So we can just single click and drop that right into place. And then if you try to select an object and it doesn't quite select that wall cabinet, because it automatically did the base cabinet first here, you can hit Tab on your keyboard to select the next closest object. So hit Tab on the keyboard and that will try to find the next closest object and select that one for you. Then we can resize it. And in our 3D view, I'll just select that cabinet and bring it right down to our countertop. And let's open that up and make some changes. So within our Home Designer software, we do try to kind of keep everything consistent to the standard cabinet styles with your 3-inch increments and so forth. But you can really get into this customization. So if you are working with custom cabinets and doing custom sizes and so forth, you can definitely get into that customization with the software. So let's modify our doors here. Let's change the height to 36 inches. And then for our blank area here, let's change that to an opening. I'd like to have shelving, exposed shelving there. And then I'll just single click on this bottom separation and delete that. And we don't need our backsplash here. So that is under our general panel. And under the backsplash, uncheck the backsplash to base below. Now let's add some molding. So within Home Designer Architectural and Professional, you're able to add your crown molding on here. And I believe you can do it in interiors as well. Let's get into our core catalog, open up some of our different molding options and select the crown molding folder. So we get a preview of all of the different crown molding options. Let's do the first one here. So once you have that crown molding profile selected, you can change the height. So let's do 2 inches and the width at 2 inches. And then let's bring it up to the top. We'll attach this to the top of the cabinet, so we'll do -2. So negative the height there. And and that will bring it right up to the top of our cabinet. Alright, that looks pretty good here. So let's copy all three of these. So I'll just hold down Control on my keyboard and click each object to multi-select. I'm just going to copy these and reflect them right about the kind of vanity cabinet. So this reflect about is only in the Home Designer Professional, kind of another efficiency tool for us. And then we'll reflect it right about. And let me just move my camera in my floor plan view here. We'll just bump it on over. Alright, so now that we have all of our cabinets placed, let's drop in our nice mirror here. So I have my mirror and I'm just going to drop that right in. And we can bring that down a bit, resize it right in our 3D view here. So another great reason to be working with this Home Designer software is to visualize how these cabinets are going to work in this space. So you'll notice at the end here we have this kind of gap. So we need a filler cabinet. So we can either just put a filler right on this side, so just use your cabinet tool, resize it to fit in this space. Or we can put a filler on both sides, we can kind of center it. So let's work with this a little bit. I'm just going to click and marquee around all of these different objects here. So that's going to select everything. And I'm going to use my Center Object tool right down in our editing toolbar. Since everything is selected, I'll use our Center Object tool. And let's try to just center those right in here. Okay, so that worked out pretty well. You'll notice, I'm going to just zoom in to the side here. You'll notice that this area has been filled in with the same type of fill that our cabinets have. So that means an automatic filler has been created. So the automatic filler, you'll notice, is 2.5 inches here. If you're 3 inches or less, it's going to automatically place that in there for you. So it's pretty nice that it will just do it for you. You don't have to really think about it, and then you're all set and everything is spaced correctly and no more gaps. Alright, well I'm going to just maximize our 3D view here because I wanted to kind of highlight some different areas. So I'm going to just double click on that header bar here and maximize this. Let's bring it over a little bit. So you'll notice when I placed in that mirror that it will automatically generate the reflection. So that's a new feature in the 2015, and we can control that further through our preferences. So under the preferences, we can get into our render, and under our preview options, which that's the camera that we're in right now, you can show shadows or you can reflect in mirror. So those are two new areas that you can control. And the same with your final view renders. You can show shadows and so forth. So it's really nice to have the automatic reflections in this 2015 release. Alright, so I wanted to make some changes to our door styles and drawer styles. You can do that right through the cabinet area. So let me just open up our cabinet really quick just to show you where you have that control. If you want to do it through the cabinet, so set up a default cabinet style, you can change the drawer and door styles and your hardware and hinges right through the cabinet specification. Or, let me cancel out of here, we can get into our library and find some different styles and apply them in our 3D view. So I'm just going to open up our architectural folder and get into our cabinet, doors, drawers, and panels. And let's do our drawers first. I'd like to have a beaded drawer front, so let me find one here. Let's do this beaded double. So once you have that selected, just single click right on those drawers on the fronts there, and it's going to change. Let me get into a different view. It might show a little bit better here. So under my rendering techniques, I'm going to select our vector view. So that kind of changes, and you can really notice the different style that we have here compared to that flat panel that was originally on there. So let's just continue and just single click and drop all of those new drawer fronts on. So let's change our doors as well. So I'll just get into our rectangular, beaded, and I think that one will work pretty well. So I'll have that selected and then just single click on the doors, and there we are. So pretty quick and easy to work just right in your 3D views and get those all placed correctly. So I'll get back into my 3D, kind of the final standard, and let's work with some different materials. So right now everything is a pretty white color on here, but I'm going to just get into my material folder, and let's get into our different colors. And I'll just get into our generic colors here. Let's try our white and neutrals. I want to still keep it kind of neutral in here. Let's try the ivory option. So I'm going to kind of go over that material painter once again here. We used it for the flooring earlier, but it's really nice to show with our cabinets here. So we're in component mode, so that will only apply this to the door panels in there. We have object mode, so that will do the entire object, all of the doors and drawers and box and everything in there. And then we have room mode. So with one click it will apply this to all of the materials that are the same in that room. Or then floor mode, so if we had these same cabinets in our kitchen or a different bathroom, we can apply it across the entire floor or the entire plan, so the second story basement and so forth, if you'd like that as well. And then if you would like to adjust this material, if it's a little dark, we can adjust our material definition. So with the rainbow tool up top here, I'll single click and then single click on our cabinet, and we can get into our material area and change the material. So we can make it a little lighter, or we can completely customize our color. There's a material eyedropper that you can select and take off to another website if you wanted to match it with a different color on a website. So pretty efficient to get in here and modify the different materials. So we've lightened it up a bit, select OK, and there we are. And then I also have a stool here. Let's just drop in a stool quickly. And there's our stool. Let's just move that in a bit. Alright, so our vanity area has been completed. I'm just going to move around to our next area and drop in our pedestal bathtub. So let me tile vertically again. And I'll get right into our core catalog. And this time I'll be getting into our fixtures folder. This is where you'll find all of your bathtub, faucet, shower, sink, toilets, and so forth. So I'll select the bathtub folder, and let's do our garden tubs. We have this nice pedestal option here, so we can just drop that in and place it in our design here. Let's move our camera so we can see what's going on. And let's drop in a window. So I can just drop that in, and let's just resize that, maybe out to 4 feet. And I'll move it over a bit. Alright, so now that we have everything placed in our design, let me just close out of our library here. And I'm just going to move this around quickly so we can kind of see everything in our design. Just move this around a little bit, and we're going to start working with our lighting. I'm going to resize our windows here so we can see the 3D a little bit more. So with the lighting area, we do have some standard lighting options through our electrical tools in the default toolbar. So we have our outlets, we have the 110 or 220, and then we have our default light, which is a recessed light, but you can change that through your defaults if you would like to set up a different lighting style and so forth. So you can get into your electrical tools and change that. We also have the switches and auto place outlets or connect electrical. So let's just start out with our recessed lighting. So I'm going to just drop a few in here. We'll do one there, and you'll notice as I drop these in, the lighting changes. And then let's multi-select just by holding down Control on the keyboard and single clicking. So I have all three of those selected. I'm just going to select my copy and paste tool, bring my cursor right over to that middle square so I can just move all of them out a bit here. So we have our recessed lights placed. Let's do one in the bathroom area. And then we can also get into our library and work with some additional lighting. We have a lighting folder, so you can get into different chandeliers, lamps, pendants, ceiling mounted, and get into maybe let's do a recess. And then we have our recessed vapor light. So let's put that into our shower area. So the lighting in any damp location needs to be approved and waterproof and so forth. So make sure that you make notes about that on your plan as you need. And then with our standard light here, we can also just bring that right up into our wall, and it's just going to place a wall sconce for us. So that's pretty nice. You don't have to get into the library and find those. It can just automatically do that for you. I'll just drop a couple more on the other sides. So we haven't placed our door yet for our entryway, so let's just drop in a door there and then drop in some different switches. We'll have a switch for the recess and probably a switch for our wall sconces here. So once you place those two, we can then use our connect electrical. And then I'll just single click and drag to all of the recess lights here and use our connect electrical to show how everything will be connected in here. And then you can modify your connections. Use the tab key to get to the next closest object here. There, I got that one pretty close. Just drag those out a bit. So you can work on that however you need to. And then let's just do that other one. Of course, you'll continue working and drop in more switches for the bathroom space and the shower space, but you get the idea of how to control and connect your electrical in your electrical plans. For additional kind of 3D lighting controls, I'm just going to open up one of our recessed lights here. Let's double click on our recessed light. That gets us into that open object too. So just double click on the object and that will open that up for specification. So we can change where it's positioned. If we have a lower ceiling or a higher ceiling, you can change where the positioning is and of course the size of that fixture. Under the light data, we can also control the source. It can be a point light or a spotlight or a parallel. So if you would like, you can change the different type there, and you can change the intensity. So if you need it to be a little less intense, you can change that in the color, and all the way through you can really modify your lighting to pertain to the areas that you need. So then that will update and modify for us. And if you want to add additional lighting without actually placing a fixture. So this is mainly for rendering purposes. If you need additional light in a specific area, you can get into your 3D, into the lighting area, and we can add lights. So you can see my cursor now is kind of that bright light kind of image. So we can either drop it, or we can click and drag it to parallel or that spotlight or back to the point light. So as you can see, if I drop it in, the lighting changes, it's modified, and that works the same as all of the different fixtures as well. So you can open that up and change the light data as you need. So just kind of another option within the program to really enhance your rendering and add additional light sources if you need to without the actual fixture. I'm just going to delete those, selecting and hitting backspace on my keyboard. Another option with your 3D, I'm just going to make that a bit larger here. Under that 3D drop down, we can get into our 3D view defaults. So under the options panel, you can control your lighting for the interior, daytime, nighttime. So if you'd like to brighten up the space, let's drag that up a little bit and see what happens. So you'll notice that the entire space lightens up. So you can get in there and modify all of the different lighting, just kind of overall in the program, right through this area. And you'll notice we also have this checkbox to brighten the ceiling. So that will kind of whiten the ceiling a little bit. If you'd like to uncheck it, you can definitely do so, but it definitely enhances the space. You can also reset, so if you've been working and playing around with these, you can reset that to the defaults that we have set up. And if you do have any more questions about the specific lighting and the definitions for the different light sources and so forth, a quick and easy way within the program to find any help resources, just put your cursor right over that tool that you're questioning, hit the F1 key on your keyboard, and that will bring up additional help. So it's going to go over some more lighting options. You can scroll down and really get that definition and understanding of that tool a little bit further. And in some cases we do have the training videos available for that as well, so you can click on that to view the training video. So great resources directly through the program to help you learn those tools a little bit more in depth as well. And then once you're in our 3D views, as I used a little bit earlier, this rendering technique, you can get right into the rendering technique and change it to that vector view. You can do a glass house, kind of see through everything. You can see through into the cabinets and see the different components there. We have a technical illustration, and then watercolor, which is in the Home Designer Professional. So a couple different sources there. If you're back into the standard view, across the top next to the rendering techniques is our final kind of view options. So we have our final view, which will clean up any kind of jagged lines. And we also have a shadows option as well. And this is an automatic option if you have that checked through your preferences where that reflection is. So you can have the shadows on the entire time if you'd like to as well, and see those update as you go. Alright, well, let's get into our materials list. I just wanted to show you where you can find the materials that you place into your design. Right through the tools drop down and materials list, we can calculate from all floors. So that's going to generate everything in our design. Let's just scroll down here a bit to our cabinets. So that will break out all of the different cabinets, what materials we used, the different components and hardware. You can do any additional extra counts in here and then put in your own pricing. It's kind of like an Excel sheet. You can just type in your own pricing here to create your estimates. and then you can export that as well if you need to. I wanted to show you a few additional things right through our website. So that is homedesignersoftware.com. We do have all of our product information underneath our product drop down here, and you can get into the product chooser, and if you scroll down a bit you'll notice that we have a side-by-side comparison between the interiors, essentials, suite, architectural, and professional, so you can see what features are in each program. We also have a free trial version of the Home Designer Professional or the Architectural, so you can download a free trial version. There's no time limit on there, so you can work with it as long as you need to. Our system requirements are listed and the limitations as well. And then underneath our User Center, you'll notice that we do have our training videos, so you can search through all of the different videos to learn additional resources there. You can view our samples gallery, and that will bring you into some sample plans, so you can download these plans and work with the actual files and edit and have full kind of control over those designs as well. So a good resource to get you started. Then we have some renderings to kind of give you some inspiration as well. Underneath that User Center again, if you select the catalog and content downloads, that will take you directly to our 3D library, where you can find additional bonus catalogs, which are kind of the generic options, and some additional manufacturers. So under materials, we have quite a few additional downloads for you to work with. Let's get back onto the website, and I did want to let you know about our Home Talk user forum. So this is a great resource to talk with other users, share your ideas, and get additional help. And then under support, we have our knowledge base. So this is full of how-to articles walking you through all of the different projects and so forth. And you'll notice that we have a featured article showing mirror reflections. So that will bring you through and show you how to customize that through your preferences and so forth. So another great resource to get you going. And then quickly at the bottom here, you'll notice that we have some different social buttons as well. So there's the Home Talk link. You can check out us on Facebook, check out our Houzz account, or view additional webinars and so forth through our YouTube channel. So a lot of different resources to get you going, and linked into all of the different resources that we have and additional help. With all of our programs, we do offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. So whether it's a new purchase or an upgrade, you have 30 days to make sure it's the right fit for you. We do offer upgrade discounts, so if you do have an older version or need something a little bit more robust, we do have discounts on the website, or give us a call. And then check out all of those different training resources through the website, the videos, the knowledge base, help articles, the user forum, and so forth. If you have any questions on which program is right for you and the project that you're doing, give us a call. We're here to help you out and answer all of your questions for you, so call us or email us. Kayla will be on for a few more minutes here, so if you have any questions, continue chatting those in, and she'll be responding with you. Thank you so much for attending today. It was a pleasure going over the bathroom design, and let us know if we can assist you further. Have a great day.